Meeting to order. The regular monthly meeting for the Village of Shipman for April 14th, 2024 at 7 o'clock. Let's stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call, please.
Donahue.
Yes.
Cottingham. Absent. Eichen.
Yes.
Gage.
Here.
Mills.
Here.
Trevino.
Here. All right, so you should have the regular monthly minutes in your packet and the minutes from the special meeting. Everybody's had a chance to read through them. We'll take a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
For which one?
That's cool. March 10th.
Got a motion by Mills to accept the minutes or for March the 10th, 2025.
I'll second it.
Got a second by Eichen. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, you guys have it. You have the 24th agenda.
I didn't have them separated, I just have. Oh.
Agenda, so it is the 25th. I wondered why.
Oh, well, for goodness sakes.
Okay. Have a motion to accept the minutes from March 24th.
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion by Mills to accept the minutes from March 24th, 2025. We have a second.
I'll second.
Got a second by Gage. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. All right. Anybody got any correspondence? No? Jacob's not here yet, but the dam inspection was done. So we will have a report next month on that as to what the findings are for that. Anybody else got anything? No? All right. Old business, discussion and possible action regarding water and sewer rate ordinance.
The reason that this is on here instead of just approving the ordinance is the motion that was made for the, the accounts that have larger, I think it is larger, for accounts that have 2 or 3 tanks when pumped. So we had, the motion said 2%, but it should have said 2 times. I just need you guys to know that that clarification is in here appropriately. So now everything should be in here correctly according to what you guys moved on at the special meeting. So we just need to approve this ordinance and we can get that signed.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
So the wording in here now at 2.5% is the correct wording.
That 2.5% is the annual
Okay,
increase, but this, it says, account will be charged the rate of pumping an additional amount. That's under sewer rates for
okay,
that, and then commercial accounts that since they're required to be pumped every month, they're twice the amount that this is.
okay.
So instead of the $17.94, you're paying $35.88.
Okay.
Okay? And that's
Anybody-
what this said, that's what you said in the verbiage that you said, but you said 2%, and that's my fault from the bulleted points.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions on the ordinance for the water and sewer rates?
Have they all been notified, the ones that's got the 2 tanks?
I have the letter drafted,
Okay.
and that the septic pumping for the ones that have, that's the commercial ones. Anyway, I have it lined out and drafted. I'm just
Okay.
gonna have Todd look it over
Okay.
before I send it out, and then at the bottom, it's like, this is how please see below how your account is affected, and it's like, you're gonna be charged extra for your
Okay,
larger tank, or
otherwise
you're
you're gonna
gonna
have a
be,
bunch of phone calls.
I'm aware. I'm gonna send it out before the next billing cycle.
Okay.
And they got notices in their bills saying that the water rate's gone up, and what the new rates were. And then some sewer accounts will be charged differently, and you will be getting a separate communication regarding how that affects your account.
All right, so do we have a motion to accept the ordinance as it is printed as of now with the corrections in effect?
You made the motion, didn't you?
Yeah,
Got a motion by Eichen, got a second by, did you second it, Brian?
Yeah, sir.
Seconded by Brian, let's roll call that.
Okay. Donahue,
Yes.
Cottingham, absent. Eichen,
yes.
Gage,
Yes.
Mills,
Yes.
Trevino.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll send that as soon as we're done.
Okay.
Reports, finance should be a copy of the bills in your packet in front of you.
Make the motion, say it.
Got a motion by Donahue to pay the bills as printed. Do we have a second? Got a second by Trevino. Let's roll call that, please.
Donahue,
Yes.
Cottingham's absent. Eichen,
Yes.
Gage,
Yes.
Mills,
Yes.
Trevino.
Yes.
All right, should have a financial report in front of you.
Got maturity date down there on the CD, June 4th. I know we're just in April, but we thought about what we're gonna do with that. We'll have to probably address that next month.
We've been,
But it's a pretty good rate of return there for a year, but I don't know if we're, might wanna look at that to have a further discussion next month if need be.
yep, we can have, see if we can get some quotes as to what the interest rate are on them. Make a notation of that to, let's get some. Anybody got any questions on the financial statement? If not,
We'll make the motion, accept financial report.
got a motion by Donahue to accept the financial statement. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Gage. All those in favor, aye.
All right.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. Also in your packet there, you'll see we can address the water report when we get down there. All right, anybody have anything for the cemetery?
Nope.
I know Jacob had spoke with I don't remember who they were. Do you remember who that company,
It's
company was?
this, funeral services by.
So in all funeral services, is a organization or a corporation that goes around and plots out cemeteries. They use it by using coordinates from a drone as to pinpoint who's buried in your cemetery and where your grave open or your graves are that are left to be opened. He had spoke with them. They was gonna do we call them Teams meetings, where they call in on the computer, a Zoom meeting, here this evening at about 7:15, but he's at the sewer plant right now, so, not sure what the cost is on that, as to, have that done. There is,
The initial setup is dependent upon how much we want them included in, like how many records that they'll be transferring over and all of that. And it's I think it's per record, cost, and then it's a monthly cost on above that. But it's also, you can have people will have access to it to find their loved ones. So it's like, find a grave online, you can type in your person's name and they'll show you where they're buried at. That gives them access like that to this, but they can't change anything, they can just search it. And then ways for you to earn money through the same thing is like you can have flowers and scent, and it's got this whole like memorial store.
So-
That's the word I'm looking for.
Well-
Store, a whole memorial store that you can do different things to kind of add to your revenue, and then they will help us get it all set up. They'll help us with taking the pictures, but that's one price. If we take the pictures and we load them, then that's a different price. If they just take the records and set it up to how we need it to be listed on there, like plot, plot, and plot, then they'll do that, and that's a different fee. So it just depends on how much we want them to do to set it up versus how much we're going to do to set it up.
And when he gets here, he'll have more information, because he spoke with them direct in reference to that.
I looked out there and one time, I got a call from the out of town, wanting to know whether a certain relative was at. He told me what particular spot it was on. I went out there and there was grandma and grandpa, that was all that was marked, period. I come there, look, nothing. So what do you do something like that? You
Well,
know they're
we
there,
have-
but you don't know where they're at?
We have I've been working on that, and I've probably spent 25 plus hours taking from the note cards. We have note cards, we have files, and we have the,
We went through all the note cards, there was two boxes, one, I don't know, I can't, seemed like it was the little white cards, and then another box. We went through all of them, we found where grandma and grandpa were at, they didn't find one particular individual.
and so there's also a list that I don't know who did each one of those steps, but I've taken all 3 different ways that we have it in there. They don't all match up, but I'm taking it and compiling it into one spreadsheet so that we have a list that's by last name, then we have a list that's by block number, and then we have the old side and the new side. And I'm putting it all into a spreadsheet to get that better for me and Jacob to be able to find stuff, and I can search it instead of pulling it, looking for that specific card. So I don't have to worry about, did it get transferred to these 3 different places that it needs to be? I just have to go to the spreadsheet. And then I've also found this form, and I locked my office by accident, so I don't have it right in front of me. But a form that I found online that shows like the person who bought it, where their address, contact information, and then like if they're buying 6 plots, who it's reserved for. Because Jacob and I are finding a lot that grandma and grandpa bought 8 lots, only 3 of them are used, so who gets the other 5? we don't know, but if we have that has it like, these are reserved for so-and-so's name, at least that's one more piece of information that we have that we can refer back to. Right now, I'm making them get me the, will and the executor's information and, signing an affidavit if they don't have any of that, you know, like, give me as much information as you have and then we'll work from that.
Well, grandma, your 8 plots. There's nothing in writing anywhere. What can you do with them? You can't do anything, can you?
Well, it says it's, in the deed, it says they're heirs and or
You're
assigns.
gonna run into that go part of the cemetery.
Well, what I'm saying is, on the cemetery deed, if they have a copy of that, or if we have a copy of that, it says, to all their heirs and or assigns, so it like gets passed down, but if they don't have a will that says who gets passed down to, if they tell us when they purchase it, who it should go to, then that'll be,
Some of them won't create, you won't find any paperwork on trade.
probably not. I found some stuff from the 1800s, it's hard to read.
But there's stuff in the filing cabinet too in there that you're trying to,
Yeah, I'm trying
she
to
was showing
compile,
it all to me one day.
I'm trying to compile everything that I can find. Jacob brought me some stuff that he still had out there, as far as, every year that, I think it was Kim would copy the card, put who was supposed to be buried, the date, and then once they were buried, they just put that piece of paper that Kim had given them into this file that said 2010 or whatever. So I'm also taking that to compare that to what I have as well, because like I said, there's 3 different places that you have to pull this information from. I'm trying to make it as seamless as possible. It's taken me some time, but in doing all that, we did find a book. It's a ledger that's from the 1800s, I think 1890s maybe, that has some of that information in there too. Again, some of it's hard to read, some of it's been eaten away by mice out there at the shed. So I'm doing the best that I can with the information that I have. Over and above that, I might have to reach out to family members, but that's where we're at right now. And that, all of that information, they will take that, we just provide that to them and then they compile it and figure it all out. But I'm already doing a lot of that work because I don't know that we can afford something like that. So, and I need to be able to use it now, not when they get it finished, so.
And keep in mind that how many people have been in charge of doing the cemetery, and each person starts their own system, so, you know, you're working with how many different people's work trying to come up with a system that's gonna be easy to pass on to whoever's next, so. Yeah, no, you've got your work cut out for you doing that there, that's for sure. Anybody else have anything on the cemetery? Anybody have anything for health and safety? Steve is not here, nobody's here for the Park Association. Streets and sidewalks, anybody got anything? Water and sewer? You have a water report in your back of the papers here. This is for last month, for March. I do know the one hydrant is over there at Carlinville Road. It's going to need to be replaced. I know we bought that to put down at Rose Lane, but looks like we're gonna have to fix the one at Carlinville Road. It's a little bit more priority than the one down at Rose Lane, so.
Yep. Sewer part, sewer.
So anybody have any questions on that? Maintenance. Jacob's at the sewer plant, so when he gets here, we'll go through his bullet list of what he has, and he can enlighten us on the cemetery and the water All right, new business, excuse me, new business. Discussion and possible action regarding cemetery management solutions. I don't have the answers because Jacob's got that, so we need him here to discuss that before we can make any decisions on that. Discussion and possible action regarding the police account. So Todd, we have an account that's been inactive, I want to say probably for about 13 years. Can we close that out and
Transfer it to general fund unless it's restricted, what kind of an account was it? Just for
it was
general
for like
fees?
when they paid fees and stuff like that
Yeah, yeah, you
coming
can,
in?
you can do that to the general fund.
Okay,
Okay. Yep. Because you don't have a police
okay,
account,
we don't have that.
yeah, other than what money is there. Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. So, we have a motion that we are going to close the police account and transfer the 623.31 into the general fund.
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion by Gage to transfer the 623.31 from the police committee, or police account to the general account. Yep, excuse me, have a second?
Second.
Got a second by Trevino. Let's roll call that, please.
How much did you say was in there? 600?
$623.31.
Does that money come from the county? State?
Come from the county.
There hasn't been any activity on that account except for fees from the bank for it being inactive. So it's been at 623 for at least 4 years. Okay, Donahue,
Yes.
Cottingham, absent, sorry. Eichen,
Yes.
Gage,
Yes.
Mills,
Yep.
Trevino.
Yes. All right. Discussion and possible action regarding some banking issues. So, did not know that after, was it 150 transactions? So after 150 transactions of us doing something, whether it's in the water account, sewer account, whatever, then we're charged a fee on top of that. So a transaction to the bank is every time a piece of paper goes to them, whether it be a check, money, whatever, but that's considered a fee. We have almost 300 water accounts that we're paying on. So we have all of that, and then anytime that we write a check out of that or anything on that account, that goes to that. Amanda went to the bank today and got some information. She'll be here as soon as tumbling's over to be able to explain that. But that might be something that we need to look into, is that if we're gonna be incurring costs on something like that, we need to look at something else, because if we're gonna be charged whatever, and I don't remember what the penalty.
25 cents per
25 cents,
item.
an
So if-
item.
So in water, if I deposit up to 150 transactions, there's nothing to worry about. We get those for free. And then at 151, that's 25 cents per item that gets moved through the account. So, but I think she said that there was only 2 months in the last 12 months that had any fees, which doesn't make any sense why you'd have 2 months that did and 2 months that didn't, but whatever. And it was less than $12 each time. I think it was like 9 something and 10 something. It was under $12 for sure. So she has that information, but we won't know from month to month if there's gonna be more than the 150. And she said that we haven't gotten any charges in the sewer account, but we were getting them in the water account. But I deposit a split account, or a split deposit, so it's part of it goes into water and part of it goes into sewer. So apparently they're only charging one of the accounts as having an item go through it, and then this only has the deposit slip, where this has the deposit slip and all the checks. I don't know how they decide which account it gets appropriated to or whatever, but that's, keep that in mind.
when she comes in here, she'll be able to explain.
Yes, she has that. While we're on that, talked about opening an account, a payroll account, to where if that's a situation where we can just put the money in for payroll that needs to be wrote out for payroll for the 2 pay periods or whatever 3 pay periods that are in there, and that we can pay it out of that instead of this here where we're taking money out of each one. They just take it out and put it right straight into the account to cover the payroll.
So you
And
understand.
then what we could do is the cost of the checks and stuff, we could maybe combine or condense some of them so that we're not spending the money to have checks for this and have to have checks for that. So that is something that was also on to discuss. If we're in favor of that, we're not in favor of that. Anybody have any thoughts, questions, suggestions?
Wait till we hear from her. Yeah, we gotta do something on the thing, please.
All right, so while we wait on them, we have an executive session for personnel. Somebody want to make the motion to go into executive session for personnel?
I'll make a motion to the executive.
Got a motion by Eichen to go into executive session on personnel at 7:27. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Donahue. Let's roll call that, please.
Did you say 7:27?
Yes.
Donahue?
Yes.
Cottingham's absent. Eichen?
Yes.
Gage?
Yes.
Mills?
Yeah.
Trevino?
Yes. Okay.
Four.
The regular monthly meeting at 7:48. We've got a motion by Trevino. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Gage. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. All right, no action at this time. All right, let's go back up to the maintenance report. All right, Jacob talked a little bit about the cemetery project that you had spoke with the gentleman. If you want to enlighten us with that.
He was gonna have a Zoom meeting, but he thought it was next Monday, not this Monday, so he's gonna be in May meeting. But basically, for them to come in, get all our data, and then go out, like, and take pictures of each lot and each space for every spot that's out there. The number was kinda high, and I'm like, I just told him, you know, we wasn't interested, so it was way too high. 43,000,
How much?
43,000.
43,000.
So I'm like, no, and then, so we, which I don't know if Dawn brought it, but I was gonna make copies for everybody, but
This,
yeah. And so it kind of goes over each different scope of what they do, what they offer, and then you want to know if we had a budget to start them out with, and then go work with that, or what we wanted to do. But with me and Dawn, when we had a team call with him, it didn't make a lot of sense and would help out tremendously, but 43,000. No. Ronnie, Paul Maurer from IDNR, Jackie from IDNR, and then Matt, I think his name was, did the dam inspection. Ron will be here next week, or next meeting in May, because his inspection report wasn't done yet.
so how's that gonna look?
Not good. I think when they said in 2019, when they had the medium most bid was like $225,000 fixed. Obviously, everything else went up, so I can imagine it's probably right. right around the $400,000. But it's to the point where under the spillway, the tube is 7.5 foot, just hollow. And now there's a hole up top that's opened up the left side. Now there's one starting to form on the right side of the tube. Because there's so much washed out from underneath the tube that it's just starting to pour all over.
So next month, we'll have a report from the state and.
Yeah, and he'll be here to kind of explain the severity of it and solutions and so how we go about getting it fixed. And
So was 2019 the last time that thing was inspected?
I believe so. That's the last information I have.
I know when I talked to Seth a couple of times, he didn't want to touch it because he said that the actions that was taken was not what was done, so it was hard trying to get him to even come over here and even want to look at it because.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
How many acres is there around the lake? Does anybody have any idea? I mean, counting the lake, is there excess acreage around that lake that the city doesn't use?
There is a little bit, but not very much.
Okay.
Which, I mean, there's really no houses that's in danger of it if it does give way, but there's concrete. So that's,
But the other problem with it is if we drain it, then they come in and they sample the soil, and then if the soil doesn't meet the criteria, then we have to haul that off to a landfill at hazardous material cost.
yeah.
So, you know, you kind of stuck in both ends of it.
Yeah, which, when they come out and shocked it last year, they didn't want to restock it because of the duckweed.
Uh-huh.
Said if we were to do something about the duckweed, prevent it from, well, you can't really prevent it, but to cure to where they stock it, it's not just going to turn around and put fish right back.
I have to have Ronnie find some grants for you guys to take this.
They did talk about a few, but it's, I mean, the concrete walls got cracks in it, the bottom foundation concrete split in half, it's pretty far gone, really.
And at one time, there was money out there to put like a walking path and some other stuff for, you know, a recreational area, but, and the money was there at one time from that atrazine
That's,
lawsuit to
That's what Paul Maurer was saying, is that
fix it.
there was funds there, but then whatever the reason was, that it didn't, and it got dug out the way it got dug out, and that's, it was like a Band-Aid to a fix, but it wasn't a fix, it's his work.
Okay,
We-
so we might as well prepare for that.
Oh, yeah, it's not good.
Okay.
We jetted some more sewer main basement from the school, all the way down to the lift station on Carnival Road. As of right now, we're currently in all the ammonia, nitrogen, all our limits for the first time in
How old are you?
25 years. Septic tanks are gonna start being pumped out next Monday. On the 21st, as they come around, I got a list for Dawn. We probably need to send something to the people that's gonna be done. There's two.
So, and I don't know if we need to send them a list, but just because somebody doesn't see their septic tank get pumped, I talked to
Well,
Mr. Spickerman,
like
but,
if it's
you
in a,
know,
if it's in a fence, that way the gate can be unlocked, or if there's dogs in there, the dogs can be put up, or if it's being parked over, the car can be moved, or if it's in like a flower bed, then there's a flower over it, and rather than them move it, or me have to move it, and homeowner can do kind of accordingly, or
Well, and we have everybody comes because they don't see the big sewer truck out there, so their septic tank didn't get pumped, you know?
Yeah, and so, that was just a, I don't know, try to help everybody's,
Well, you had people working too, so two people working on that when you're home.
right.
So yeah, anybody know somehow.
Well, like I said, it's in a fence, or there's dogs, or
Right.
whatever the cause may be.
So I did talk with Ryan over the weekend, and if there's an issue like that, where, you know, you have, and you can't get into it, you know, I know that, he said they had that situation in Medora, back where somebody didn't want them crossing their yard. So they said, you know what, we're here now, if you don't get it pumped now, you wait until the next rotation, so.
Yep.
Yep, send something out, let them know that, you know what, the gate needs to be open, the dog put up, and you're right, so that they have access to it. And then when he said they'd go back, instead of charging the village, they was gonna charge the homeowner and charge him full price, so.
Yeah, and we're like, there's some in town that people dump their cat litter in there. It's something you literally shouldn't be putting in there. People put in there and think that, oh, because it's out of their hand, then you don't have to worry about it. But in the end, it's like cat litter should not go down to the plains.
Hold on just a second. So the parcel that includes the lake is 32.98 acres.
32.9.
32.98 acres is the parcel number that the village owns that includes the lake. Sorry, Jane.
Oh, that's fine. There is two pumps that, Cardinal pump is where I've called, they don't know price because they don't know how bad they're damaged. But they're for lift stations, one's a lift station that are like just for a couple residents versus the big lift stations, and then one's big lift station off Lakeview, because right now it's running on one pump. I said they didn't have a price because they didn't know if it was gonna be completely replaced or basically how bad the inside was. They wouldn't know if they could part it.
Didn't, they used to use was it Vanderventer? Didn't they used to come up here? Wasn't that who it
I
was?
think so,
Brian?
yeah.
I think
it was.
And I don't know, maybe they're not in business anymore, but that,
There was a card out there for, and on one of the boxes that the pump for, like the lift station was just for a couple houses. It said Cardinal pump on the side. I called them, that's what they told me.
sure. There was also a place, that they used to go to was in East St. Louis. I don't remember the name of it
That's
either.
Cardinal pump.
That Cardinal, okay. So some of them are gonna have to be
At least, yeah,
maintained.
two, I got one in the, like I said, the lift station on Lakeview, it's only running on one pump. And then the other pump, it's basically just, it's for the lift station over on, like, behind the Eichen house, or it can go by the one that's on, up by Jason Willer's house, or the one out on Blues Lane. 'Cause all three of them, not out yet, but they're not.
So we have to take them out and take them to them.
Yeah, and those ones, it's just one pump pumping it, so. We did get, I got coal patch delivered. I don't know where you guys want me to start. If the street committee wants to give me the worst spots to start and go that way, I'm all for it, but other than that, I'll just, I guess, start one street at a time, or like I said, somebody wants to give me a list of where to start, and I'm all for it.
Water hydrant. You got the water hydrant over at Carlinville Road.
Yep, it's going in tomorrow, it's gonna go in today, but I have a little carbon sewer plant, me and Dwight just addressed, so. Good to go, get it put in tomorrow, and then probably Thursday, I'll do the one on Rose Lane and 16. That should be, because the one that's right here by the Methodist church, it's not leaking, but it gets broke, so. illegal.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, Grafton, GTI hit this water main over here, hit the water main, and then they bored through the saddle, and ripped it out of the meter center. So that's why it's been barricaded and a mess over here on Front Street. But I just backfilled it and got it taken care of, so that way it's not open hole anymore.
So just make sure that we keep track of our man hours and all the.
Yeah, send them
Parts and-
Dwight's gonna get us the cost of boil order sample, which is just Mason's Lodge, meat locker, and 151 Roberts. And I told them, Mason's Lodge, I told Larry Gillespie, and I told Phil Griffith that lives and owns 151. And it's gonna just be contained right there, so everybody knows we need to post one sign, freak everybody else out.
Okay,
Cause big uproar with it.
okay.
And then a pump monitor relay over here on Shawman lift station. We just bypassed it for now, and that is basically just, we can continue to bypass it, but eventually, because right now it's letting water in the motor. So this relay, however, it kicks something on where it keeps, I'd have to have Jeremy explain, I'm not an electric guy, but that's just what he told me.
So that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, which I think,
Steady running now.
what's that?
So basically steady running now.
Yeah,
And then with the water that's coming in, there's still not,
right.
it's not burning up.
It's not burning up, but it's just constantly, basically constantly running the outage up.
So is he gonna get you a quote to fix that? Okay.
That's all I got. Other than, well, Don Roche stopped me at the shop this morning and then sent me these in an email just an hour ago. If you guys want to look at them. These are from, he said they mailed it, whatever date is on there, I think, the old date. 9/17.
Yeah. 11/6.
Bill, is that that gravel bill you guys were talking about?
No, that's 3/4 inserts for when I was putting heaters in, that I didn't have any, and then the other one is the gas line.
These were sent,
He just asked me
I
whenever I
haven't-
looked and I haven't seen anything from them. But if he gets me a copy, I can cut them and check the time.
okay. All right, anybody else got anything for Jacob?
Nope.
Jacob, did you ever check and see when the sewer class that you need?
Well, no, I got my sewer license already.
Right, so
I've been
the water
taking the water
class-
class on Monday.
You're taking it now?
Yeah. I got 3 more Mondays, and then I'll have a test if I pass, then obviously I'll have my license if I don't.
So in about a month's time, we should know. Okay. Alrighty. Anybody got anything? No? Alright. Amanda, you're up. We was discussing the fee for the transactions on the bills that you had spoke with CMB about. Tell me, it was 150 transactions per account, and then after that, it was 25 cents per transaction, and each item that goes through is a transaction, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So if we have, like the main accounts would be like the water and sewer, because they're the ones that have a lot going in and out. So however many water customers we have, you get a deposit ticket, and however many checks, each one of those is considered an item, which we get the first 150, no charge, but then it's 25 cents after that. There's other accounts out there, but you get into monthly service charges, or you have to hold a minimum balance,
Okay.
which is not very beneficial.
Right. Yeah, if we're gonna have to pay to have an account, that's not beneficial. And then the way they fluctuate, sometimes, you know, you may have what the minimum amount is, but then there's other times when you may not, so.
They, at this time, there's really no other account that we could move to that they would offer as a no service charge or no minimum balance or anything like that. I did ask, so. Up to the board what they wanna do, but.
So if we do 150 in water, we have 300 sewer account, or, excuse me, water accounts. So the next 150, we could be charged up to 25 cents, plus every check that we write out of that, and includes that as well.
Now, on the water, the, like the online payments from the bill pay, those are not considered a transaction. Those are, because they're not handling those themselves, so those are okay. We have all of those all day long.
Okay. Well, what's everybody think?
Is that Medora Bank or what's that? Bank Medora?
C&B.
No, I'm seeing
C&B.
that's where we bank it right now.
What's Medora, do they charge that?
No charge.
Next board can look at it.
Be worth switching.
It'd be worth switching, that's my personal opinion. We're not gonna get charged.
I'd talk to the bank and say, I can move my account over here and they'll charge me, maybe they'll say, well, we won't charge you if you don't pay your account.
I
We're
tried.
trying.
He'll say goodbye.
Just a little fella that tell us hit the road.
And we hit the road.
We're going down the line.
What do you guys think? Want to hold off? Have any ideas, thoughts, questions?
Probably just check with the other one maybe and see if we can get anything better than that, you know, just kind of feel her out there first. See if we got anything, you know, to go along with that, if it's any better or if there's any other benefits to it.
Okay.
Not to put you on the spot, do you want me to call a certain location, a certain institution?
I would say it needs to be somewhere local
Yeah.
because we're gonna have to take our water bills and drop them off,
Yeah.
so I don't expect anybody to drive to
Cost of driving and everything else.
St. Louis.
Yeah.
Amanda, could you give us something from Medora?
Absolutely. Yep. There's no minimum balance, no fees, free checking. It's just a normal account. It's not an interest-bearing account. We have those, but it's really not paying anything. It's not really worth having. And you can have unlimited transactions or items.
So can you get us something in writing so we can bring that to the
Sure
board next
can.
month?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The other thing, for you, Amanda, would you check the rates on the CDs? We have a CD coming due in June. And see, what the rates are, please.
Yep. Just surrounding locations.
Yeah.
UCBs and, okay. Right. Lincoln, it's
All right, anybody have anything in regards to, oh, the one other thing was to see about, in which we'll do that or they can do that, depending on what they want to do about opening an account for payroll so that payroll can be paid out of an account instead of the way it's done right now. So if you would get something in writing with the rest of that stuff that you're going to get,
Yes.
please.
I didn't realize you were putting me back. I was making notes on the CD. Are you still wanting to keep it a 12-month CD? Can I backtrack a little bit?
Well, I
Or
guess
do we
see what,
just want to see
see
all
what the
terms?
best, see what the best rate is out there for terms. Yes, ma'am. All right, anybody got anything?
Can we go back to water and sewer for a minute?
It depends.
Well,
Yes.
okay, when we sold the water line to Jersey County, do you know if the county got anything for that? That's one. And two, not saying that Kyle Dart, not to call names out, but he pays for sewer, and it's not on our water because he's before our master meter. If he was not to pay his water bill, we can't shut his water, or shut his sewer off because now, with that being said, there's a customer in town that the water's padlocked, but they have, it's not a well, but
Cistern?
a cistern in their basement, and they're using a cistern to supply water to their house, so they're still using septic.
So for the people that don't have city water, is there what, one or two of those that just have sewer?
There are
Well,
two that have sewer.
the one he's talking about is padlocked because, for non-payment.
Right?
So we can't just, we have one that has, that's using their well or whatever, and then they pay the monthly charge for sewer.
Just the minimum?
We have two of those, Kyle and, yeah, they just pay the minimum sewer.
So I have a well in my yard, I wonder if I can get on that program. If I get the minimum.
So, which basically, I didn't know if we'd buy that one back, just the one back from Jersey County, so if for whatever reason he don't pay his water bill, we can just shut it off and we're not gonna have water. So then therefore, most people can't use and wouldn't use sewer bill, but
I don't know that that's something that we would want to take on and then them have to move the meter again. I'm sure that if we work or talk with Jersey County, I'm sure we could figure something out there rather than to go and try to line water line back.
so
Just, just my
just a
opinion.
question, sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that with Godfrey. Godfrey has a sewer system that's different, but the water's right. And so the sewer system.
So they have to work
So they have to work together.
together.
Which me and Greg Page, we're good.
He does pay a sewer bill, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think most of the time they pay it like 6 months at a time.
No, no. Okay. All right, that it, Jacob?
Yep.
All right. Public comments. Kim? Look like you got something.
No, I don't, I was thinking, no, I don't.
We'll come back to you.
I don't have anything.
Sure. Okay, Scott?
Got nothing.
No? Diane?
No.
Donnell?
No.
Amanda?
No, sir.
John?
Todd brought up with you just some questions on making sure the bids were correct and acceptable bids, I should say, for the three bids that were turned in, and if they met the criteria, it works for me. And if there is a dilemma with the current service, if there's, don't hesitate to like lean on me or put it in there. So like last year, we don't have like a 6-week gap if something goes wrong, or if for some reason, you know, you guys can backfill versus, you know, trying to whatever until, you know, just temporary type thing. I think it'd be cool for, it'd be respectable for the ones that are buried there. And your guys' headstones, I was 3 weeks in and I was still finding new bronze placard for past military that I wouldn't have known if it wasn't for stepping on it. They were all covered in dirt. I bragged if you guys bragged, but it was hard, you know, to realize that those people just been mowed over, and, you know, I didn't even catch it for the first couple of weeks. So that's kind of one of those things. The municipal building, make sure that was like a separate entity of, you know, I didn't want to roll one into the other. But I said, I came to you with the trust and ability of, you know, use at your discretion. It's not really a public thing, and there was some feedback, and feedback's appreciated, but opinions aren't really valued unless you're asked for them. And, you know, if you don't ask for somebody's opinion, then really you don't need to give it. You can show appreciation and respect and all that, but I didn't appreciate the social media platform that took a situation and it was, you know, something that could be handled at an adult level. And, you know, I think I extinguished it within like 48 hours and went through the admin, and I didn't read nor did I comment, and, you know, it's kind of like one of those.
Well, you can rest assured, guess what? I don't do social media, and that's why
Right.
that's for all the Facebook warriors who
Right.
don't wanna come to a meeting, or they'll sit behind a computer
That's kind of one of the
and
things.
badmouth everybody sitting here, so.
I
understand.
can have my own opinion. Most of the times I know it's probably wrong. You know, if somebody shares their opinion, I'm always open-minded, I should say.
I understand,
A lot of times opinions aren't really necessarily needed, so.
right. Appreciate it. Mary?
Just don't forget my driveway needs to be done.
We'll get it.
And also, Jack and Brian, this is their last meeting.
They'll be here next meeting.
They will be here next meeting.
Half of it,
For all business.
yeah, for old business.
We're gonna make them stay for the whole meeting.
Old business.
Old business.
Well, I just thank you for being on the board, coming back on the board. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Beverly, you too.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
And as soon as that's a issue where, that's MediaCom, it's got that cable through there,
Yeah,
that is theirs, so I guess if we need to draft a letter and send to them, because we're not gonna unhook that and take responsibility of that cable that goes through there. I can show you some other places where it's just barely buried underground and this and that's their responsibility, but we will
I
get
know
that
you
taken
were
care of.
talking about the extra cost of the link. Is mine involved in that?
The what? The extra cost?
of the
Cost,
link. I
cost
remember
of link.
what
No,
the link was that got approved.
I know you had a limit of, you know, so many feet and after that.
No, because we don't have an ordinance on that for the culverts.
I thought you did.
Al, once again, if we don't have it in writing to where we can see it, we can't enact on something, so whatever you've got there is what'll be replaced,
Okay,
so,
okay. All right, thank you.
you're welcome. Tammy? Eddie?
Yeah, what do you guys do with the old fire hydrants when you pull one out?
Well, we ain't pulled any out for quite some time, have we?
A couple flush hydrants, but normally if they can be repaired, then we'll rebuild them, but if not, then
Scrap 'em.
scrap them.
Probably as cheap to buy one as it is to rebuild stuff today.
Right, some of the new, like the bigger three ways, you can get the internal for not even half of what it costs, because one of them is $3,700.
But then you gotta pray that it seats and everything else, and you don't have to get back.
Did you hear him, Eddie, that either rebuild them or scrap them?
Are you wanting a sprinkler?
You scrap it.
What's that?
I'm interested in buying one if you scrap it.
Got them out there?
At scrap price.
Are you wanting a big one or like the flush hydrant?
Probably have to actually put that on.
Like a little one?
Put that on.
Or,
The one
Like the one in the corner of your
Anybody
yard.
else
where you
wants
can
to bid on,
Can I
just bid
scrap
on
them?
too.
as of right now, no.
Oh, okay.
Just because the one,
Surplus
it's,
property.
the centerpiece is the only part that's bad on it so far, but I haven't got it out really built to tell, so. But if it is, no.
It wouldn't be on scrap price, though, it'd have to be on bid or something. It'd have to be like, we'd have to do a little thing, piece
Surplus
on
property.
surplus property and everything to sell something from the city.
You just said if they're no good, you scrap them.
Well, we scrap them to a scrap yard, and that's the same way like,
My money's not just as good as
that's the
scrap.
same thing as basically somebody else, basically like the propane tanks. We can't buy a propane tank from a scrap yard because it's basically, you know, they're trying to take it, put propane in it or not. And basically, we have to go there and scrap it there as a business.
Okay. So you can put a bid in as, on it as surplus property.
Which we'll have stuff, because from the things that we pulled out here and some of the, we'll have things that need to do that. We talked about it for a while.
Other stuff there.
You're gonna have that, just do it one time.
Yeah.
You can buy scrap from the scrap yard.
Yeah, you can buy scrap from there for an additional price.
Right.
For scrap, basically what they sell it for. At, you know, it ain't the scrap price, but it's more. And then, but so like I said, certain things they can't take, they can't resell either.
No, Brandon, the main question on the $1 million coverage is, I'll need to know before I put another bid in for next year, be it whatever, because if my opinion of the route I went, then I was severely over-insured, and that will drastically affect it.
So you just have to have the insurance coverage.
Right, those $1 million on the cemetery and $1 million insurance coverage is, to me, two different things. Because it was really hard to get $1 million of coverage on the Shipman Cemetery as an entity versus having an insurance plan with $1 million coverage. So I don't know which way the board and the town views it and the contract of you need to have $1 million coverage on the Shipman Cemetery, or you just need to have an insurance plan with $1 million coverage. Because I had to go through, like, background check, I had to go list the equipment. Clearly, it's only myself that's on the policy, so I'm the only one that can work it. And if that's not, if that's not what you were looking for and I overdid it, well then cool, because I wouldn't have wanted to underdo it and then get stuck, with my neck hanging out, so. But it definitely would affect the cost factor, because it was a lot more expensive than just $1 million insurance plan.
Okay, yep, next year they'll lay it out and pull it. Eddie, are you done?
Yes, sir.
Anybody else got anything? Going once, twice? Motion to adjourn? Got a motion by Mills to adjourn, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Eichen, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
All those opposed, at 8:23.